to the channel. Today we're going to react to I Can't. True story animation by no one. I Can't Feel Pain. Before the video starts, make sure to like and subscribe. Now enjoy the video.
Hi, I'm Ryan, and I have
Hello,
a rare
Ryan.
disorder. I don't feel pain.
Why don't you
I
feel
didn't always
pain?
know this, though. Here's how it all started. My parents thought I was the most perfect baby in the world. Why?
They must have lied because you look like a 30 years old man that has a big head, and you don't look like a baby at all.
I rarely ever cried. I was laughing most of the time and only broke into tears when I was hungry or needed my diaper changed.
Okay.
My parents' friends, who also had babies, were so envious that my parents were able to get a full 8 hours of sleep each
8
night.
hours?
One funny story that my dad tells everyone over dinner is that when I was a toddler, I was playing in the dirt outside.
Okay.
He heard me laughing
You're not a
uncontrollably,
toddler.
so
You look
he
like
came
a
to see
30-year-old
what could have been
man.
so amusing about a pile of dirt.
Your
When
father
he
doesn't
looked
look
at
like
me,
you.
he gasped. I had a huge scorpion in my hands,
scorpion?
and I was just
Killed you.
playing with it like it was a teddy bear.
Bruh,
He also says I had a huge red mark on my leg where it had stung me.
It stung you.
He screamed at me to
shoot.
drop it, then picked me up and ran into the house. I
Hospital.
was still laughing, apparently.
What
My
the- why are you
parents took me to
laughing?
the doctor to check if I was okay, and I was.
Aren't you sure he's like a brain surgeon guy? That
However,
doctor?
no
Because I
one
can
could
see something
understand
on the
why
chart.
I wasn't screaming in
Yeah,
pain.
why weren't you screaming?
Before I continue, please don't forget
Guys, but first, why do they all have blue eyes?
to like the video and subscribe to this channel.
Yeah, I like
And make sure you
subscribe to my
hit that
channel, guys, and this
notification bell
channel.
for more awesome
My
content
channel,
like this.
actually.
I had two older brothers who were always
okay.
pushing each other
Green
around, and when I
and
was big enough to play
blue
their
eyes.
wrestling and boxing games, they included me too.
Okay.
They were always hitting or punching me, and instead of crying, I just hit and punched back harder. They'd often stop the games because they were in so much
Hey
pain.
guys, I'm gonna
I found it all amusing because I felt nothing. When I was
Alright,
about
there you go.
6, my family and I were on the beach, and my
Alright.
mom got a sea
Oh
urchin
no,
stuck
sea
in her
urchin,
foot.
those are very pointy.
She screamed and
I'm
shouted
pretty
in pain.
sure sea
Then she
urchins
burst into
has
tears.
pointier spikes
My father
than
tried to pull it out, but
porcupines.
the more he tried, the more it hurt.
Yeah, it's gonna hurt
I
more.
really
Don't pull it
couldn't
out.
understand why it affected my mother so
Yeah, why
much.
did it
So
affect you?
I went into the sea and caught another sea urchin. I dropped it onto the sand and jumped on it.
Bro, this is just a
Tickled.
disadvantage. Why would
Mom,
you do
this
this?
is fun. Why
you
are you
dumb.
crying?
You're gonna
I
kill
said.
yourself.
Oh my God, Ryan, she said. We both had urchins stuck in our feet. I was giggling and my mom was crying. My poor dad had to deal with it all.
Oh my
He drove us to the hospital
gonna
where
take
they
that
helped
off?
us to remove the spikes.
Yeah.
For my mother, this seemed unbearable.
It's going to hurt
but
your
it
leg.
didn't
He has
affect
to
me at
bandage
all.
it.
And I guess
Didn't
that
affect
is when I
you.
realized I was a bit different.
Yeah, you are different.
I decided to
But
use this
being
difference to
different
my
doesn't
advantage.
matter, guys.
At school, I developed the nickname Fearless
me.
because I was always doing the most
I never
outrageous
been in love with
stunts.
you, but I
I'd
don't
climb to
care.
the top of the monkey
Just
bars and
yourself
deliberately throw myself down. Or I'd swing really high, then just jump off midair.
Okay, that's just painful.
One day, I brought a lighter to school and tried to impress a girl by burning my finger.
Why
It
would
was
she
so
be
much fun.
impressed you burning your finger,
But
dumb
I
dumb?
have to warn you, don't try
Don't try
any of
none
this
of
at home,
this.
or
Don't
anywhere for
try
that matter.
this, no.
I got into
Don't
trouble
try
for
this,
this
will
because
kill
eventually
you.
the other kids wanted to
And
attempt
hurt
my
you really
stunts.
badly.
When they did, they'd end up in excruciating pain with broken limbs.
Broken
It
limbs,
got
why
so
would you-
bad
What?
that my parents were called into a meeting. I was expelled for being a bad influence.
Bad influence.
At my
sir,
new school,
literally
I
older
became
than
a
him.
bully
What do you
because
mean
I was
bad
angry that
influence?
those stupid
What?
boys from my other school got me in trouble.
God.
I became the most feared boy at school, and people would think twice before crossing my path.
Yeah, think about
The bigger
Christ.
boys in the higher grades tried to mess with me once,
Yeah,
but
try to mess
I
with
beat
this
them up
dude.
so badly that they learned to stay away from me.
Ooh.
They were so shocked when I only laughed at them while they punched and kicked me. I have to admit that part of me really loved the attention and respect. I would do things just for the thrill and attention.
Why?
For example, one afternoon, my parents decided they'd take us kids out to enjoy a cool
Zoo,
stroll
okay.
in the zoo.
Love the zoo.
After laughing at the penguins and observing the zebras, I began to feel a bit bored.
Yeah,
As we
bro.
approached the lion's pit, I got a bright
I
idea.
gotta say, that's a bad way
Ryan,
to
Ryan,
my
no!
resident here.
My mom screamed, but it was
Don't
too
jump in
late.
there. That's lion.
I had already jumped
Don't do
in.
this.
I
You'll
walked
die
around
from the
making
lions.
funny faces at the lions while the
These are
crowd
baby
screamed
lions.
for me to get out.
Baby king lions.
Many people had already taken out their phones and they were
Scream,
recording.
Get out.
I
Where's
ignored
the
them
mama?
because
And
there
the
was a
car
cute
and
little
the
lion cub
car
approaching me.
there, and the
I
mama.
ran towards it and picked it up.
The
Suddenly,
mother's not gonna
I
do
heard
that.
more shouting.
I'm gonna be happy
Ryan,
about that.
look out!
And the
My dad
father.
said. Before I could even turn around, a lioness, the cub's mother, I guess,
the
jumped
mother.
on my back and
She's
bit
protecting
my
your
arm.
kid. Take this.
I turned around and pried her jaws apart with my bare arms.
Wow.
Then I laughed and hopped out of the lion's pit.
Wow,
I
I
was
think you
bleeding,
killed that
but
animal.
I seemed totally unbothered by the whole incident.
Bro, if I had that,
I went
would have been
viral that same afternoon.
That's a
Everyone was
thumbnail.
talking about me.
What the heck?
In the weeks that followed, I became so popular that I was invited by several talk show hosts to talk on their shows.
Hey guys, I just wanna
It was all the
just say
attention.
this,
Afternoon.
that
Everyone.
that's the thumbnail. Look, that's the thumbnail, guys. This is a thumbnail.
Was talking about me.
I
In the
just
weeks
saw.
that followed, I became so popular that I was invited by several talk show hosts to talk on their shows.
several?
It was all the attention I'd been craving, and more. As a teenager, I continued participating in extreme sports. I got tired of the bully reputation, so when I moved to high school, I hung out with the tough kids who were also into extreme sports. We called ourselves the Daredevils, and every other week we try a different challenge.
Bro. Daredevil.
We went
That's
mountain
the
biking,
best you can
paragliding, skydiving, and base jumping. But my ultimate favorite was cliff diving.
Cliff diving.
I
are you
loved
dumb?
the adrenaline rush I'd
You
get
drown.
while falling through the
Even
air
though you don't
and
feel
then
pain, you'll
crashing on the
drown.
sea.
Either way.
Unlike my friends, I had absolutely no
What
fear.
if a snake just
One
comes
afternoon
or
on one of our
eel?
cliff diving adventures,
your
I had an
leg.
experience
Oh.
that influenced the rest of my life.
Whoa.
It was just like any ordinary day,
Okay.
but while making silly gestures on the cliff, I ended up losing my balance. Instead of falling into the sea, I hit the rocks and I ended up breaking both my arm and my leg.
You did this
I only
to
knew this
yourself,
because
dumb
this is what the x-rays at the hospital revealed.
You just
I
broke
felt
your
completely
leg in
fine.
half, bro.
Luckily, my problem could be
If you
easily
walk,
fixed, but the doctors
you
were
broke it.
extremely puzzled about why I seemed to feel no
that
pain
can be
at all.
fixed.
Although I
You
could have
need
been
to
discharged
bandages
earlier,
for, like,
they decided to
days.
keep me longer. Several tests were conducted, and after that, they did several more.
Okay.
After what seemed like weeks, they called me and my parents to a meeting. Many doctors
What
were
is it?
present, and everyone looked at me like I was some sort of alien.
Well, honestly, you
The
don't
head
feel pain.
doctor
Maybe
looked at my
you are an
parents and
alien.
said, "This is something we've never seen before at our hospital. Your son Ryan is incapable of feeling
okay, guys, I
pain."
don't think it's a true
He said.
story. I feel like it's
"What?"
a lie.
My dad said.
There's no way you can
Think
not
about
feel
the way
pain,
he has
you know.
behaved his whole
No,
life.
I'm gonna look it up.
I'm pretty sure
way.
there were many clear indicators, but now that we've done the tests, we know for sure, replied the doctor. Well, there was the scorpion sting when he was a baby, and he
Scorpion
never cried
sting.
when his brothers hit him, and he'd do all kinds of crazy stunts in elementary school. Then the lion. My dad went blank for a while, and then it all clicked. Well, Ryan needs to be extremely careful, because he is unable to feel pain. He seems to constantly put himself in life-threatening
Yeah,
situations.
you probably break every
He will
bone
do
and then
things
you
that
can't
ordinary
move.
humans would probably think twice about attempting.
Yeah, I
Think
would
about
not
it.
try
He
any
could
of
have
these
killed
things.
himself while jumping off that cliff, he said. Our suggestion
Yeah,
is
if he
that
had
he
not
stops
said he would be
engaging in
dead.
dangerous sports. Can you just calm down and
Or
behave
just
like a normal young
Your
man?
chest.
Probably
Yeah,
think
normal.
twice about attempting.
Dum-dum.
Think about it. He could have killed himself while jumping off that cliff, he said.
I gotta say,
Our suggestion
that cliff doesn't look like something you can just break your bones. That cliff
is that
like
he stops
the
engaging in
shortest hill
dangerous
I've ever
sports.
seen.
Can you
If I
just
jump
calm
off that,
down
I'll
and
just
behave like a
sprain
normal
my
young
ankle.
man for a while?
Yeah,
He said
like a
while looking
normal
at me.
young man.
I don't really care what any of you have to say.
Okay, first of all, why is his eyebrow look like a check mark? First of all. And second, when it bends it looks so weird. I have a lot of questions.
I said while walking out of the room and slamming the
What kind of
door.
haircut is that, bro?
I was angry. How dare they all talk about me like that while I was right in the room? I loved my life, and I loved the adrenaline rush I felt when I took risks. I wasn't about to put myself in a bubble just because I couldn't feel pain.
Bro,
Instead of
you can't
persuading me
complain,
to be
that
careful,
means you're
the
gonna hurt
doctor's
your whole
revelation
body.
caused me to
You
feel
can't
like I
move
was
at all.
superior to everyone else.
Imagine if the
I
doctor
decided
didn't fix
to
your
use my
legs. You couldn't
ability
never
to make
walk.
money.
Even if you
I
did
started
fix
making
your
videos
bro.
while I hurt myself to see if I could get lots of views on YouTube. I did everything I could think of. I stuck needles in my hands, smashed bricks on my head, and one time I even set myself on fire.
Bro, that's gonna kill
People
you.
were horrified, but I found it hilarious. I gained
Yeah,
more and more
horrified.
views
Yeah,
and more and more followers.
Guys,
When
you
I
gotta
finally
give
hit
us
1
the
million,
subscribers, man.
I
There's
felt
no-
the greatest
1
sense of
million? Are you
accomplishment I
kidding
had
me?
ever felt
For like
in my
one
life.
day?
I also continued my dangerous stunts, and when I was old enough to drive, I did every single thing I was told not to do in driving school. I also also bought a motorbike, which became my
No,
favorite
motorbikes
thing
are
in
the
the
most
universe.
fastest thing.
I
But
learned
they're
how to
not
do
the
many
loudest.
stunts, and of course, I did them all without a helmet.